I often get asked, is it possible to have a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder and borderline personality disorder? This is the topic of this video. I'm Professor Shania Rathod, a psychiatrist in the United Kingdom. I post interesting videos on well-being weekly on my YouTube channel, so please don't forget to subscribe and you will not miss out on the next one. Yes, it is possible to be diagnosed with both autism spectrum disorder and borderline personality disorder. Autism spectrum disorder is a condition related to brain development that impacts how a person perceives and socializes with others, causing problems in social interaction and communication. The disorder also includes limited and repetitive patterns of behavior. The term spectrum in autism spectrum disorder refers to the wide range of symptoms and severity. Borderline personality disorder is a diagnosis where individuals' pattern of personality disturbance is characterized by a pervasive pattern of instability of interpersonal relationships, self-image and affect, and marked impulsivity. At the core of borderline personality disorder is a very anxious attachment style, and often in the context of BPD, this is typically a trauma response leading to the need for safety, but then not being able to trust. Many individuals with borderline personality disorder experience intense feelings of shame, guilt, and rejection that can be overwhelming, and sometimes it becomes so much that it can lead to emotional dysregulation with behaviors like outbursts. Sometimes symptoms of the two conditions can overlap, leading to confusion in both diagnosis and self-understanding. These two conditions share some common traits, particularly in areas like emotional dysregulation, executive functioning, and interpersonal challenges. However, while they may seem similar at a glance, the underlying causes and manifestations are quite different. So let's explore three areas of overlap, although there are more. Firstly, cognitive empathy and social struggles. Now, one key feature that both individuals with autism and those with borderline personality disorder can struggle with is cognitive empathy, or the ability to understand and respond to the emotions of others. This doesn't mean they lack empathy altogether, but rather that they may struggle to interpret or process emotions in a way that others do. In borderline personality disorder, low cognitive empathy often stems from emotional dysregulation. When someone with BPD feels overwhelmed by their emotions, they might struggle to recognize or respond appropriately to others' emotions, leading to intense emotional reactions in relationships. In autism, cognitive empathy challenges can come from a different place. Individuals with autism often experience difficulty understanding social cues or reading emotional expressions, not because of emotional overload, but because their brains process social information differently. This can lead to misunderstandings in social interactions, even though the individual might feel deeply for others. Although both groups struggle with interpersonal relationships, BPD is often marked by more emotional instability, while autism involves more social misinterpretations. Second is executive functioning and self-regulation. This is another area of overlap, that is executive functioning, that is the cognitive processes we use to manage thoughts, actions, and emotions. It includes skills like impulse control, planning, and problem solving, skills that help us navigate everyday tasks. In BPD, executive functioning difficulties are often tied to emotional instability. Impulsivity is common, such as acting out in intense emotional states or making rash decisions in relationships. These behaviors are driven by a lack of emotional regulation rather than cognitive difficulties. Whereas in autism, executive functioning challenges may manifest as difficulties with organization, time management, or transitioning between tasks. For individuals with autism, this struggle is often less about emotional reactivity and more about the difficulty in prioritizing or shifting focus from one task or thought to another. In this sense, the difficulty is less about emotional impulses and more about cognitive processing. While both groups may have trouble managing their behaviors or emotions in response to stress, the underlying causes and strategies for coping are distinct. BPD involves a cycle of emotional overwhelm that drives impulsivity, while autism may involve overload from social or sensory inputs leading to cognitive difficulties in regulating behavior. And the third area of overlap is emotional dysregulation. Emotional dysregulation is a hallmark of BPD, often seen as extreme mood swings, intense emotional reactions, and difficulty managing interpersonal conflict. This emotional instability is deeply tied to a fragile sense of self, often resulting from early trauma or neglect. For individuals with autism, emotional dysregulation is typically linked to sensory overload or frustration in social interactions. Since many individuals with autism struggle with communication and sensory sensitivities, their emotions can become heightened, leading to meltdowns or shutdowns. However, these reactions are not driven by relational trauma, but by an inability to manage sensory or social stressors. Of course, there are other areas of overlap, and we will continue to explore in future videos. Understanding the overlap between autism and borderline personality disorder is crucial for ensuring individuals get the support they need. Misdiagnosis can lead to ineffective treatments and unnecessary emotional distress. However, with proper diagnosis, people can access targeted strategies that help them manage emotional dysregulation, improve their social skills, and build a healthier sense of self. Whether you are navigating the challenges of autism, borderline personality disorder, or both, remember, self-compassion and professional support can make a world of difference. Understanding the root causes of your emotional struggles, whether due to sensory overload, emotional instability, or a blend of both, can help you find the right coping strategies and create a pathway to better mental health and well-being. Please subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed today's video. The more subscribers I have, the more YouTube gives me the ability to make more creative videos. Like it, share it, tell it. Tell it to all the people you know. And thank you for watching.